We are kicking off today with SmackDown as the Bloodline took a huge step during the show, with major implications awaiting at SummerSlam. In a tag team gauntlet match for a shot at DIY next weekend, Baron Corbin and Apollo Crews started things on with a win over Humberto Carrillo and Angel Garza. From there, the Street Profits defeated Crews and Corbin, and then bested Pretty Deadly, and despite being exhausted, overcame the onslaught of Luke Gallows and Carl Anderson. This was when the match really got cooking, and we have to ask, is Pretty Deadly the best act in WWE not currently being used meaningfully? Yes, boy! In the end, though, it was the Bloodline's Tama Tonga and Jacob Fatu who won in a match that highlighted the depth of SmackDown's tag team division. It also revealed that there is still work to do when it comes to giving teams outside the title picture something to do, and hopefully this leads to some storylines. There is plenty of potential for a red-hot division, but it'll take developing and featuring the teams involved more consistently than they are. In the meantime, it'll be Tonga and Fatu who challenge DIY for the WWE Tag Team titles at SummerSlam, and what do you make of this result? Let us know down in the comments. Ahead of his US title match at SummerSlam, LA Knight sought to continue his momentum on SmackDown when he faced Legado del Fantasma's Santos Escobar. Despite the heel's best efforts, Knight weathered the storm through the commercial break and mounted a late comeback and thwarted attempted interference by Elektra Lopez and Logan Paul. Knight escaped a Phantom Driver attempt and delivered blunt force trauma for the pinfall victory, but received a post-match beatdown by the heels. This was a fine match featuring two capable talents, but it wasn't that long ago that Escobar was one of the most over heels thanks to his betrayal of Rey Mysterio. Since WrestleMania 40, though, he has floundered, and it feels like a major missed opportunity to establish a quality mid-card heel who should be in the title picture as more than Paul's heavy. Later in the show, Logan Paul promised a legendary homecoming for SummerSlam and his match with Knight, and vowed that a Mr. Cleveland said he'd have a surprise in store for him. But who is this Mr. Cleveland? Well, one name fans believe it could be is none other than the city's very own Machine Gun Kelly. The rapper is well versed in the world of WWE as he's performed during a PLE and took a bump a few years ago courtesy of Kevin Owens. Like Paul, MGK is no stranger to controversy, and having him aligned with Logan Paul could garner a range of reactions from the live crowd in the Cleveland Browns Stadium. Kelly could perform a song for Paul to make his entrance and possibly even cost LA Knight the title match, further generating heat for the Maverick. Are you interested in seeing Machine Gun Kelly be Mr. Cleveland at SummerSlam? What do you think Logan Paul has planned? Share your predictions down below. Now, Beth Phoenix was a pioneer of women's wrestling during her career, as she was a huge star in an era where female wrestlers were given little focus in WWE. Recently, though, Beth's profile on WWE.com was removed from the active section, raising speculation about her status, and it's now been confirmed that she's left WWE. PW Insider reports that the Glamazon is gone as her contract has expired, and she was neither re-signed nor offered any kind of Legends deal. Phoenix's last in-ring appearance for WWE was in 2023, and she has also worked as an announcer as part of NXT, but left that position years ago. Beth's name came up backstage in AEW last year when Adam Copeland joined the company, and the "you think you know him" part of Copeland's theme comes from his wife. Whether Phoenix joins Copeland in AEW, only time will tell, but now the Hall of Famer's next chapter in wrestling will come outside WWE. What do you think of Beth Phoenix parting ways with WWE? Share your thoughts in the comments section below. In recent days, it's been reported that MVP and Bobby Lashley have been pulled from WWE's internal roster, and that WWE believe the two will be gone when their contracts expire soon. It's even been said that the pair could be looking to reform the Hurt Business in AEW, and hope that Tony Khan will sign Shelton Benjamin to make the reunion happen. Speaking to Mail Sport, Triple H was asked about the potential departures of Lashley and MVP, and remained coy with his answer, stating, "You know, just like any sport, any business, we sign talent, talent's contracts run out, we release talent, it's just part of the process, so it's an ongoing thing." While Lashley and MVP are seeking to reunite the Hurt Business, odds are a new group won't use that name, as the term is owned by WWE according to the USPTO website. But what do you make of this situation? Are you excited about MVP and Lashley joining AEW, or should they stick with WWE? Let us know down in the comments. Back to SmackDown as Bianca Belair and Jade Cargill hit the ring for a promo and once again addressed their desire for a rematch against Isla Dawn and Alba Fire. The new champs attacked, but the babyfaces fended them off to end a segment that took longer to get to the ring than it did to execute. Having champions who are hardly featured and not developed creatively attack babyfaces is hardly the way to get fans to care about them or this feud for the women's tag team titles. Somehow, even under Triple H, the women's tag title picture remains the most underserved portion of the roster, no doubt continuing to fuel speculation that the titles are cursed. Grayson Waller and Austin Theory called out unbeaten boxer Terence Crawford, who aided Cody Rhodes a week ago by handing him a steel chair against the former tag team champions. Brash arrogance on the part of Waller was met with a knockout blow from Crawford to Theory, which continued the trend of mishaps between tag partners headed towards an inevitable split. In a pre-taped promo, Cody Rhodes addressed his upcoming match with Solo Sikoa at SummerSlam and how before last week, he didn't believe Sikoa was ready for the match. Now he's not sure, selling the idea that Sikoa, especially with the bloodline in his corner, poses arguably the greatest threat to date to Rhodes' tenure as undisputed WWE champion. Solo Sikoa had a threatening message to send to Cody Rhodes on SmackDown, but the new head of the bloodline also had some strong words for Roman Reigns. During his pre-taped promo, Rhodes challenged Sikoa to meet him face-to-face one-on-one next week, and Sikoa accepted the request with a video message of his own. Not only that, but Sikoa spoke about taking the undisputed WWE title at SummerSlam and vowed to bring it back to the bloodline after Roman lost the gold at WrestleMania 40. In a warning to his cousin, Sikoa said that if Reigns has a problem with him winning the WWE title, he knows where he can find him, but said he'd show his family member no mercy. Sikoa even went as far as to say that Roman would end up like Randy Orton, Kevin Owens, and Cody, all of whom have been taken out by the bloodline at one point or another. It's been reported that Reigns will be back soon, and could it be that we see the Tribal Chief at SummerSlam in a confrontation with Solo Sikoa? Share your thoughts in the comments below. Legal news now, as it was Janel Grant's 67-page lawsuit that resulted in Vince McMahon stepping down in January, but in May, that lawsuit was put on pause. Grant has opted to pause litigation so that a federal investigation into McMahon and WWE could take place, but now McMahon's legal team are trying to remove that court-ordered pause. The lawsuit was officially put on pause in mid-June by Judge Jeffrey Meyer, but in a statement to WrestleNomics, McMahon's lawyer Jessica Taub Rosenberg spoke against the pause. Rosenberg alleges that after agreeing to pause the lawsuit, Grant violated the order by seeking one-sided discovery for her own benefit and claimed Grant's lawyer admitted as much on TV. Rosenberg has requested that Grant complies with the court's order, and if she doesn't, then she faces civil and financial sanctions for her actions. McMahon claims that Grant violated the federal stay order by seeking discovery against Dr. Carlin Kolker and Peak Wellness, who gave her undisclosed treatments in November 2019. Those treatments, which included pulls and IV infusions, allegedly happened at McMahon's direction and related to the relationship between them that Grant claims was not consensual. This is a complicated matter, and the lawsuit is far from over, and we'll continue to follow this case and the federal investigation into McMahon for more updates. Right now, few names in wrestling are more popular than Joe Hendry, who in addition to being a prominent name in TNA, has taken the world of NXT by storm. Hendry has appeared at several NXT events and will appear next week at the Great American Bash, but he's now also appeared at an NXT live event. The event in question took place in Davenport, Florida, and before the show, Hendry teased appearing at the show, telling fans to say his name. Somebody must have done that, as Hendry was part of the untelevised event and teamed with Shiloh Hill and Javon Evans, but in a losing effort to Gallus. Despite his loss, Hendry remains one of the most popular acts in wrestling today, and fans are eager to see what he'll do during his concert next week at Night 1 of the Bash. Over to AEW, and during Blood and Guts, Jack Perry took a steel chair shot to the head, once again raising questions about blows to the head and whether such spots are still needed. In an update, multiple sources at AEW confirmed to Justin Barrasso of Sports Illustrated that Perry is fine, and Nick Jackson said that wrestlers know the risks of being in the ring. Jackson added that the chair shot would not have happened if Perry hadn't been prepared for it, and it's good that the former FTW champion is fine after the controversial shot. More from SmackDown, as in tag team action, Nia Jax and Tiffany Stratton took on Bayley and Michin in the main event in a solid competitive match between the four. The match saw Michin wiped out on 2 different occasions, giving the heels time to focus their attack on Bayley, who was the perfect sympathetic babyface and has the crowd on her side. Bayley sold well before making the hot tag to the recovered Michin, but in the end it was Jax and her Annihilator that scored the win and gave her the momentum going into SummerSlam. The Jax-Stratton pairing has been effective so far, but there's always the chance that Tiffany could cash in on Nia should Jax win the women's title next weekend in Cleveland. As for Bayley, she continues to deliver as expected, and this angle has done big things for Michin, who has often been overlooked by those in the promotion. Taking to Twitter, Michin shared how tough she is, speaking about her back being broken and her knee being busted, but made clear she's not backing down from any fight. The question now is, how will Michin factor into what happens at SummerSlam, as she could prove to be a difference maker with the champion, the challenger, and Miss Money in the Bank. But what do you expect will happen at SummerSlam? Will Tiffy time take place in Cleveland with her cashing in Money in the Bank? Let us know down below. And that was this week's SmackDown, and with much of the roster being in Japan, this week was a taped show filmed last week and definitely felt like it. While there was some good stuff here, including the Gauntlet match and a main event spot for the underrated Michin, the show lacked an energy that has been key to WWE events in 2024. Merely 8 days before SummerSlam, this was a placeholder, and that is not necessarily a bad thing, but still wouldn't have been preferred compared to having a rabid crowd. One could perhaps chalk this up to the fans being tired after already having last week's live edition of SmackDown, but the superstars still delivered, even if the atmosphere felt off. With next week's show being a live SmackDown in Cleveland, hopefully that show will deliver the impact that this week's show was unfortunately lacking. If you've been watching AEW as of late, you won't have seen much of Jon Moxley, who hasn't competed since his IWGP World Heavyweight title loss last month at Forbidden Door. According to Dave Meltzer in the latest Wrestling Observer newsletter, Moxley's absence is simply a case of him being granted time off, and he has not been backstage either. At this time, it is unclear when Moxley will return to TV, but given his years of dedicated work for AEW, the former world champion is hopefully enjoying this well-deserved break. In 2021, Paul Wight joined AEW after over 2 decades with WWE, but it's been quite some time since he's been used in the All Elite promotion. Now though, Wight made his return to programming as part of the latest ROH television and confirmed that he has been appointed to the ROH Board of Directors. In his new role, Wight wasted no time in making a major match official for Death Before Dishonor that saw the Undisputed Kingdom face Kyle O'Reilly and Tomohiro Ishii. While Matt Taven and Mike Bennett retained, that win did not come easy, and we'll have to see what other plans Wight has in store as the newest member of ROH's Board of Directors. When you see Gunther on WWE TV, Der Ring General is all business and never breaks character, in a testament to his dedication to his role as a heel. In recent days, though, Gunther has been part of the ongoing tour of Japan and broke character during last night's event in Tokyo. In photos from Japanese wrestler Daisuke Sekimoto, Gunther can be seen having fun at the event and even posed for a photo with Sekimoto alongside Sami Zayn. Given the history between Gunther and Zayn, this is a photo you definitely won't see on WWE TV, but the King of the Ring was able to have some fun in Tokyo this week. Speaking of the Tokyo show, Cody Rhodes defeated AJ Styles and Shinsuke Nakamura in the show's main event, but the show was not over for the American Nightmare. After his match, Cody was presented with a special gift, a robe and hat worn by his father that had previously been on display in a public exhibition dedicated to Antonio Inoki. Dusty Rhodes and Inoki collided in New Japan in the late 1970s, and understandably, Cody was emotionally overwhelmed as he received this gift in Tokyo. Dusty has played a huge part in Cody's career, as it was a desire to fulfill a promise to his late father that resulted in the American Nightmare's return to WWE in April of 2022. Now Cody's attention turns towards SummerSlam and his title defense against Solo Sikoa, but Rhodes will never forget this special night in Tokyo, Japan. We've got some joyous news to share now, as Blair Davenport and Chase U's Riley Osborne have tied the knot and gotten married this week. On Instagram, the happy couple shared a few photos from their wedding, and the couple had been dating since 2022. Interestingly, Davenport was spotted in the background of a backstage interview with Naomi on SmackDown, and this could have wider implications involving the women's tag team titles. After all, Naomi is an ally of Bianca Belair and Jade Cargill, who also appeared in the segment, and Davenport was spotted in the background of a recent SmackDown speaking with Isla Dawn. As for what's next for Blair on WWE TV, that'll be interesting to see, but for now, we'd like to offer our congratulations to the happy couple at this exciting time. Since arriving in WWE, the Wyatt Six have proven to be a force to be reckoned with, and the WWE Universe have certainly taken notice of the group's creepy actions. On a recent poll on WWE.com, fans were asked which faction was the most feared, and the Wyatt Six stormed a victory with 80% of the vote, with the Bloodline coming in second with just 15%. The Judgment Day took the bronze medal with 5% of the vote, as Uncle Howdy and his faction are sending chills down the spines of the WWE fans. We've got news from Freddie Prinze Jr. now, as it was quite some time ago that the actor/ex-WWE writer shared that he planned on launching his own wrestling promotion. While Prinze had big plans, fans are still yet to see said promotion host a show, but this week Freddie gave an update on his company. Prinze explained that he's much closer to the finish line than the start line, but that if the network talks he's currently involved in fall through, that'll be it for the year. Despite the potential for disappointment, he remains committed to his goal and shared that he should be able to share some more definitive news next week. Whether that news is a great success or a tragic failure, as Prinze put it, he doesn't know yet, but even the latter won't stop him pursuing his goal of his own promotion. The independent scene in wrestling has been on fire in recent years, and Prinze hopes to add his own promotion to that very soon, and we'll continue to follow this situation for further updates. And we're ending with Asuka, who, as we reported yesterday, kicked off WWE's first night of their Japanese tour in the Empress's hometown of Osaka. Well, it turns out Asuka is doing more than hyping up the crowd, as the former Raw and SmackDown Women's Champion has reunited with her Damage Control allies. On Instagram, Dakota Kai shared a video of herself, Asuka, Kairi Sane, and Io Sky fully reunited, the first time they've been united since Asuka suffered a knee injury. That injury is expected to keep her out of action for 6 to 8 months, but on both nights of the tour, Asuka did not have her crutches, which is a good sign for her recovery. Damage Control has been undergoing something of an identity crisis as of late, with Io Sky saying changes will have to be made after a series of setbacks. How Asuka will fit into these changes remains to be seen, but the Empress was pleased to be back in front of a WWE crowd this week in her native Japan.